The Biafran pro-agitator known as Biafran Liberation Force has launched their military camouflage, of course, which they displayed via the social media, and at the same time sending a very serious warning to Asari Dokubo over the continued threat and then insult arraigned on the supposed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI Kanu, by calling for his continued incarceration by the government of Nigeria, as he in recent time visited Ahmed Bola Tinubu in Aso Villa, pressing that the release of Mazen Kanu will amount to threat to the Nigerian state. Mazen Kanu has been released and discharged and acquitted by Nigerian competent courts of law since the 13th of October 2021. And ever since this court ruling, of course, demanding that the Nigerian state should release him unconditionally and compensate him, which, of course, the United Nations chapter responsible for human rights, the defense of human rights, also gave their own submission that Mazen Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, should be released unconditionally. And ever since Nigeria has not complied to this court ruling, for reasons best known to them, there had been a defiant violation of his fundamental right, having been set free, acquitted, and discharged by the court following the extraordinary rendition that occurred in June 2021. This is quite unfortunate. But then, following this development, the Biafran Liberation Force has displayed their camouflage and readiness, of course, to continue the agitation for the restoration of Biafran state, regardless of whatever happens. And they have given, of course, another ultimatum to the Tinubu-led administration to release Mazen Kanu with immediate effect. For the Dokubo, they have warned him that if you think he's not a coward, let him come to the province of Biafra, which they named or they mentioned in the voice note. You're going to hear directly how decisive and resolute these people are. Asari, Asari, you Biafra in Biafra land. Welcome every citizen of Biafra, as well as all friends and well-wishers. We just enter another phase in the movement for the restoration of Biafra. Imagine immediately the Asari Dokubo, as you call yourself, your idiocy and arrogance will not be overlooked again. You come time after time to attack the Igbo people under the cover of Ijo youth. Asari, we will destroy you and any person or group of persons that share in your madness. All governors and senators working against the collective will of the people will be destroyed. Only on the release of Mazen NNAMDI Kanu shall we consider lifting the every Monday sit at home. Saboteurs, leave our land immediately. Your time of grace is gone. Matoyo Chokoro, the top commander in Abia State, Bakassi, we warned you time without number. Today we have destroyed you. You are gone. We swore an oath to restore Biafra by any means possible. No force can stop us. Now who define trouble? Asari. Now who define trouble? Asari. I think you want shoot from Asari. Now you define trouble. Asari. Demanding for what they call, of course, the independent state of Biafra. And to this end, they have sent strong warnings to Asari Dokubo and his men that they are going to destroy him if he stands the way for the restoration of the Biafran state. According to them, they have taken an oath and uh, there's no going back to that cause which they believe and which they live for. And the generations gone will not forgive them if they turn down, of course, this continued quest for the restoration of Biafran state. I think it's becoming more interesting at this moment for the Nigerian state, and I hope, according to the release, that the only way that could redefine or pacify them is to ensure the immediate release and unconditional release of one of the proponent leader of the Biafran state, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi NNAMDI Kanu, or Hamadike, as it's been popularly, of course, known. Well, let's see what happens, whether this is just a mere, of course, threat of ways. Well, time will tell. They displayed several regalias and readiness of preparation that is no longer business as usual. And uh, this proponent of Biafran restoration seems to believe in the ideology of liberation, which of course involves armed struggle if that becomes necessary. But for that sort of IPOB, the deploy diplomatic means or means of engagement in the pursuit of the restoration of Biafran state, which its oppressed leader has been held and incarcerated for barely 2 years now, if I may say. Yes, or more than 2 years, so to say. And it's quite unfortunate, and there have been series of restiveness within the eastern region, or the supposed Biafran territory, as they claim. Then whatever happens, of course, becomes a history, having learned from the past. They said they are no longer interested in the Nigerian projects, no matter how they may be cajoled or forced to remain there. They have made up their mind, and within the international recognized law for self-determination, are pushing, of course, uh, their efforts and energy towards that. And if they are resisted, they would take, of course, whatever means possible to defend their territorial integrity and preserve their own cultural inheritance and posterity. They said the history at home has come to say as long as the indigenous people of Biafra's leader remains under DSS dungeon for what they claim to be, of course, based on the provisions of the uh, Nigerian constitution, that a man is presumed innocent until proven otherwise by the competent court of law. And Nigerians' legal jurisprudence has affirmed that the innocency of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. But the executive arm of government seems to have other vested interests for not to have released him or comply to the democratic principles and rules of engagement, which the arm of the government, the judiciary, is one of the veritable tools of government. And any country or society that does not have respect for the rule of law is endangers itself. And of course, it's just a matter of time. Such society might not experience peace, no matter the level of pretense by the ruling elite. That is unfortunate. But then, I believe that the current dispensation of Ahmed Bola Tinubu should not ignore such quest or call or dismiss it with, of course, a wave of hand. This is a great potential threat to the existence of everyone, not just Nigeria. And if the continued existence of Nigeria poses a threat of monumental disaster to humanity, then the continuity of the Nigerian state should be reconsidered in the interests of all. Well, this threat, I hope, will not aggravate the already worsening situation within the southeastern or perhaps the eastern region of Biafran territory. Well, time will tell, and we hope that the concerned authorities will look into these fundamental issues bordering on the existentiality of this indigenous people of Biafra and Biafra in generality, because it has become a child of necessity to reconsider the position for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Of course, for peace to reign, their single demand for this moment is the release of NNAMDI Kanu, and their warnings to Asari Dokubo should be a very strong issue of concern, because they have said Asari Dokubo could not express his bravery by daring to pronounce or announce that is coming within the Biafran province. Otherwise, he will be proven otherwise wrong, to be a coward. Well, this is an interesting moment indeed in the history of humanity, especially within this African region, where there have been several calls, not just the Biafran state, nor the Biafran Liberation Force, but also in recent time, Oduduwa agitators or proponents of Oduduwa nations has been clamoring and agitating for self-determination. That implies that something is fundamentally wrong and should not be ignored or dismissed, of course, with a wave of hand, because there are more to this uh, quest from different regions of the country to succeed from the Nigerian state, which they, of course, is within their right or fundamental or inalienable rights of endowed by the nature himself, which is recognized by the United Nations Charter of people's self-determination to preserve their lives and that of their posterity, or perhaps by extension their cultural heritage. Well, it's been a wonderful moment bringing your way this breaking news and interesting news as we keep the reports rolling here in COP Web TV. Please kindly hit the subscription button if you have not done so. To our esteemed subscribers, thank you for standing by us. Please do give us a thumbs up, like this video, please. Don't end watching this without giving us a thumbs up. It is very important so that YouTube can push us to further viewers to know what is happening and the latest news, where you can get unbiased reportage of events within the social, political, and economic sphere of the Nigerian state, and by extension, the global world in general. I remain the host anchor Chigos Ndibo, wishing you the best of the day.